In our podcast today, we are going to talk about an exciting humanitarian project, Doctors Without Borders in Amazonia in Brazil. Dentsply Sirona supported this project with materials and equipment. And I would like to welcome somebody who took part in one of the expeditions last year and is going to tell us more about this expedition. Welcome, Fabiana. It's so nice to have you here.
Hi, Anna. This is my pleasure.
Please tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been with Dentsply Sirona and what are your tasks in the company?
Well, actually, I joined the company in December 2016 as a CAD/CAM marketing manager responsible for Europe, Latin America, and Canada. And I work here in Bensheim, together with the whole team.
And where do you come from originally?
Well, actually, I'm from Brazil. I'm a Brazilian citizen. I come directly from Rio de Janeiro, a very big city. But I've been living here in Germany already since 20 years now.
Okay, so we can assume you also speak Portuguese, correct?
Yes, I do.
So let us move on to the project itself. A team of dentists traveled to difficult-to-access areas in Amazonia that is home to indigenous tribes. These areas have no access to dental care. How did this project come about?
Well, actually, it was an initiative from Dr. Caio Machado, who is a dentist and comes from a dentist family. He, his father, his brother, they are all Dentsply Sirona customers from long date and have been in contact with us since many years. And Caio is the founder of Doutores Sem Fronteira, this non-profitable organization you mentioned before. And, he told us, or our colleagues in Brazil, about the project, and we started to work together with them on this beautiful project. And at the beginning, the first time we got involved with the project, we sent a CEREC unit to Amazonia, and a former colleague of us, who was also a dentist, joined the expedition as a dentist and volunteer. So it was the first time.
When was the first time?
2017, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. And last year, when I went to São Paulo for the CIOSP, I met Caio for the first time personally. And in a meeting with other colleagues from Brazil, we talked about the project and the ideas. And for me, it was immediately clear that the project has a big potential to become an international project. So since then, I have been involved in 8 expeditions by now. And it's a quite exciting topic.
Okay, so there are many expeditions in 1 year, right?
Yeah, well, it took, as I said, the activities increased a lot. They used to go to Amazonia once a year, but last year, for example, we had 4 expeditions. And this year, we have already had also 4 expeditions, and we are still in July. So let's see what is coming.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Why were you chosen to represent Dentsply Sirona for this particular project?
Well, actually, in my role as marketing manager responsible for Latin America, it's the natural consequence to take over the projects related to the region. But I have to confess that as a Brazilian girl, it was always an old dream from myself to go to Amazonia and know this region a little bit better. I haven't been there before, and it was quite exciting for me too.
Okay, yeah. Sounds really very exciting. So, what specific area did you visit there? Is there like a special area you visited?
I went to the expedition in the Vale do Guaporé. It's, it was the part of the expedition which took part on the boat. So our trip took almost two weeks. And we drove along the river Guaporé, giving assistance to different villages along the river. So, Vale do Guaporé is the name of the region.
Okay. Do you know how many villages did you visit, and did you help?
I guess it was, if I could check it, but up of my mind, I think it was about 8 or 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we spent no longer than 2 days per village. In smaller villages, we just stayed 1 day. So, So we were every day waking up in another place.
Wow. What was your task on the expedition?
Well, officially I was there to generate all these stories we are talking about, and the imageries, the videos that we have in order to promote our social engagement in this region, and our products and our company. But actually it was also more than that. So I really helped them on the daily routine. So I got the chance to make the salutation to the indigenous chief, so to say. It was a ritual in the morning before starting our works there. We had to go to the village and talk to the chief of the village. And this was for me a very special moment, because it was time to break barriers, to take their fear away, to bring our purpose or our initiative a little bit closer to them, to show them our technology and to get them ready for being treated.
Okay, so it was a kind of saying hello and kind of introducing what we're doing there, right?
Yes, exactly. So I used it to take them with us to the boat, and also to show the CEREC system and explain how it works. So I can remember one time one of the chief with whom I was talking was so excited about CEREC. They said, "Fabiana, I really need a machine to do teeth like this. Could you leave this for me here?" So
did you negotiate the price afterwards?
So it was really the moment that I saw, okay, they will come, they will be there, and they will wait for the treatments, and everything was good.
Okay, so the chief always has to accept the project and the expedition, and then afterwards all the other local people will join and treat themselves, right?
Yes, it is. And actually it's the Doutores Sem Fronteiras, although they have been doing this work since a couple of years, they are not allowed to go alone to these regions. So the National Department for Indigenous Health, supports the ONG and send some representatives to go to the expeditions together with the Doutores Sem Fronteiras. So they inform the folks in advance that the boat will arrive.
So they already knew you would be coming.
Exactly. Okay. And then when we are really there, we have just to say hello, as you said, before starting with all the procedures. It's like you don't go to the home of someone and just get in. So you have to ask for permission. So it's really a formal ritual, and has to be respected. But once you do it, and you do it with your heart opened, so you are welcome, and everything can work.
Okay, so it's a lot of work up front.
Yes, it is. Actually, the logistic behind the project is incredible. We send materials, equipments in advance to another local organization which cooperate with Doutores Sem Fronteiras. So it's like a logistics center, weeks, sometimes months in advance. And then a couple of days before, when the team arrived there, they started to separate and organize everything that has to be taken with them. Then there is a part that you have to take a bus to drive 4 hours, maybe 3-4 hours during really hard roads. And then to get to the place where we take the boat. So, and in the boat, as you can imagine, there is no space left for something which is not essential. So you have to really think about everything you need, because you will not have the chance to get it easily, but you should not take superfluous things with you. So everything has to be really very well planned. Until it gets ready to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much time do you usually need to plan one expedition? Is it 2 months, 3 months, or how you start the preparation half a year earlier?
Well, actually, it begins almost after one expedition. It's time to start preparing the next one.
Okay.
And some of the volunteers have already been in different expeditions and know how it works and so on. But actually, they do the recruiting for the expeditions kind of 1 year in advance, and they always have new participants. So they have to be. It's like a process where they get to know the potential participants and see if they really have the profile to join the expedition. So they have different meetings to know each other better, and then they select the participants and continue these meetings for preparation. So actually, it's always around CEOSP time when they decide who will take part in the expedition. Okay. So, and then this is beginning of February, and then it's time they have 4 to 5 months to get the group really ready for the beginning.
Expedition.
Yeah, this is the big one. But when you think about other expeditions, I mentioned before that we had this year already 4. Sometimes it comes suddenly, some requests, as we had for the Xingu, and then things happen a little bit quicker. But then it's smaller. For example, they went to the Xingu just with 7 people.
Okay.
To the Vale de Guaporé, we were 30, and then to Terras Indígenas, over 40 people. So, So depending on the size of the expedition.
Okay. So you mentioned for the big expedition, like 30 people went there. Do you know roughly how many people were involved in the whole organization?
I would say that there are about 5 core people really coordinating all activities, communication, selection, and all this stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And how many are involved all together? Like helping and organizing and like being involved?
Everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. there is nobody there just for fun and watching what the others are doing.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody has to do something. So coming back to what was my task. So I did the salutation. I also helped to take people in the villages and bring to the boat, for example, because there were some really very small villages with 2 or 3 families, a little bit far away from where we were with the boat. And sometimes, especially for older people, it was difficult to walk
to get
2
there.
hours to get to the place where we were. So I went with a boat driver with a very small boat to get an older woman, for example, to the big boat, to the CEREC atelier, as we use it to call, or it was difficult to get in the boat, and I took a woman in my arms and get with her in the boat, or I was giving support with children during the treatments of their parents. And also exchanging experiences with the folks, with the inhabitants. I was responsible for planning and documenting all treatments. So I worked on an Excel file, just trying to make sure that we could really register all cases that we were doing, and which materials we were using, which kind of cases we did. So I was a very actually this was also my official task.
Okay.
And we had a kind of recap every night after dinner. So we got together in a room to exchange the experiences of the day.
What happened this day? Any particular issues, or how to solve small problems? Probably, yeah.
Exactly. So it was time also to consolidate everything. And give an overview to all of the dentists involved. What have we achieved as a team? Because each one was so involved in his own work, and I think it's also important to see at the end of the day the size of the volume of work that we have done. So I used it to consolidate. I have half an hour before, and then give the feedback to the team. And it was also time to decline the verb to CEREC. I really exercised with them every night. I CEREC, you CEREC, we CEREC. So it was a funny moment also.
Yes, sounds like this, definitely, yeah. What kind of treatments were performed on site? Because I assume you were kind of limited because you did not have access to all of the equipment.
Yeah, well, actually, the ESF they do a preventive work with children and their families. But they also offer pediatric dental assistance. They do the traditional caries treatments, endo, crowns, bridges, prosthesis. And this last one was really something that I couldn't imagine how important it is for the indigenous. Because they use their teeth like tools, so they damage their teeth also pretty much. And for me, it was very helpful to have dental technician in the team and be able to offer a lot of prosthesis treatments too. Yeah.
Okay. Were there anything you were nervous about before going to the expedition? Did you have any doubts before going there?
I wouldn't say doubts, but there were a lot of things I was afraid of. Yeah, I was afraid of the boat.
You don't like boats?
No.
But still you went there.
Yeah. I was afraid about the animals that I could see. But I was...
Did you read a lot about it?
Yes, and I talked a lot with some participants who have been in previous expeditions.
Okay.
And I called a lot with Caio before.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I prepared myself also like with a kind of kit, survival kit.
Okay. What was it?
I think I had pretty much everything. Fortunately, I didn't have to take any medicine or to do anything, but I could help a lot of them because I was really very well prepared. It was also thanks to our factory doctors department who gave me also really like a survival kits with medicine and creams and all this stuff. So,
but I think that's important. That's important to prepare, just because you don't know what's going to happen there. And as you said, you have you cannot just go to a drugstore and buy something. So you have to have everything with you, right?
Yes, it is. And it's better to have everything with you and don't need to use them rather than the way around. So.
Yeah, definitely. What was the biggest challenge you faced there?
Well, I don't know if it's really a challenge, as we thought before, when you inform yourself and is mentally prepared for things which can come out when they really come. It doesn't surprise you. So, but I think it was a completely different situation regarding weather. It was also different being 2 weeks together with a group of 30 people, right, who you don't know, and you have no clue how it will be in this
the group, yeah,
with the group in this small place. The boat was big, but we were also a lot of people together, 24 hours. So this was something new for me too. So the whole ritual of starting every day somewhere else, trying to connect with people and yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but a different situation. But at the end of the day, it was for me. It was proof that everything was fine. It was all right. Also, the interaction among people in the boat was perfect. There was no discussion. Everybody was keen to do something good for the people over there. So nobody was trying to skip themselves of doing anything. Everybody knew exactly what to do. The roles were distributed, and we were interacting very well. I was glad to do all the videos and pictures that we did, sometimes also in a one-to-one situation in the houses of the indigenous with the photographer. And yeah, this was also a little bit exciting, like, well, I'm going there. I don't know if they will allow me to get in. And
if they feel comfortable with the situation. Yeah.
Yes, it did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. They were really, really amazing. I love them. I love watching them.
Yeah.
They're really nice. Can you describe the type of food you have tried there?
Oh,
Anything unique or interesting?
yeah. This is also an interesting story behind this. But let's start with the normal food. And we had
Okay, we're going step by step.
yeah. Actually, we had the luck to have a cook in the boat, so we didn't need to prepare anything. All the meals were served on the right time. You could eat whatever you wanted to, and it was pretty much everything that we know from Europe too. But I remember in one village that the same chief, which mentioned this teeth machine that he would like to have there. So he was so fascinated about everything he saw with us that he invited us for a meal in his home with his family. And Caio told me, Fabiana, he really wants you to come with me. I said, okay. And he's going to cook turtle. I said, what? No, I'm not able to eat turtle. Fabiana, no, it would be like...
You will offend, right?
You would offend him. I said, but I don't know if I'm able to eat turtle, really. I was thinking about this all during the morning, and then the way to his house, I said, I will not be able to eat it. Really like that. And then when we arrived there, I was just looking for the turtle on the table and said, what is it?
Maybe Caio was joking.
And I saw nothing. I said, okay, Caio was joking with me. And the guy told me, looking at my eyes, as if he could feel and listen everything that I was thinking. And he told me, Fabiana, do you know, I know that you guys, referring to white people, no? I know that you guys are most tired of eating turtles. So we are serving it on a normal pot. I said, okay, it was not a joke. But I thought it was so lovely from his side, like to try to serve on the way that we are accustomed to, in order to don't scare myself. So it was, again, a gesture of kindness from their side. And so I had to eat turtle.
How was it? How was it?
To be honest, I didn't like it. It was no, it
was an experience.
It was an experience. I have now this checked, and I don't need to repeat.
So it seems to me that you really made friends there.
Yeah.
I mean, the people from the expedition and also local people.
Sure, and they they recognize us, and they welcome when we go back over there. Unfortunately, I couldn't join the expedition this year, but everybody who have been last year and came back this year was telling exactly that he felt like going back to friends who they already know. And
Okay.
And with the group from the expedition, we are really in contact. So every time I go to Brazil, we go out for a beer or...
That would be my next question, if you're still in contact.
Okay. Yes, for sure. Yes, we are. We talk to each other from time to time, and every time we have the chance, we meet.
Yeah, that's excellent. Where do the dentists come from? Do they come only from Brazil or also from other countries?
Mainly from Brazil. I remember on the boat we had a general practitioner from Peru, but they come mainly from Brazil. And if I think about the volunteers from Doutores Sem Fronteira, they are all Brazilians. Yeah, but as I mentioned at the beginning, and this potential to make this project a more international one was also something that got acceptance by Caio as well. And so this time I had the possibility to connect with some KOLs from France, and I could gain Isabel and Rodolphe Acker, who are old CEREC users, as volunteer for the expedition. So they went to the same expedition as I did last year in the boat. And because we had 2 experts, we also sent 2 ACs. For the first time, we sent 2 ACs to the expedition, and we were able to do even more CEREC treatments on site. And we got a new record in Amazonia, doing 105 CEREC restorations within the first 5 days. Yeah.
105 CEREC restorations within 5 days.
Exactly. Fantastic,
Wow.
isn't it?
Wow. I think that's really amazing. That's really amazing.
Yeah. And I think for everybody it was fantastic result. Both Isabel and Rodolphe were feeling very well with that, but Caio and the whole team too. Yeah.
Okay.
So we had even to ship some materials more to the further expedition, because they did a really very, very good job over there.
Okay. You mentioned Caio Machado many times. Tell us a little bit more about him. Who is he like as a person?
Yeah. It's, how can I say, he's a very open person. If you look at him, you wouldn't say he's a dentist. It's like a sunny boy who talks to everybody, and he doesn't have this so much protocol, and he just talk what he thinks. He's open to everybody, and he also doesn't have a problem to hear when he was not so polite or diplomatic, so to say.
So he can take critique well.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and he's really open to change things, and I think it's really very important leading so many and different people every time. But he really has this leadership spirit. So she gets the right portion of motivation and discipline and all this stuff which is necessary to get a group working together, delivering good results. So yeah. And it's a very funny guy, and
that's
we
important
joke all the
too.
time. Yeah,
that's important too.
And he loves the Sirona, and he loves CEREC, so everything is all right.
You also had a chance to meet Dr. José Humberto DeLuca, the first CEREC user in Brazil. He was on the same expedition. What did he think about the work facing him there?
Yeah. Humberto is also, like me, he comes from Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
And he met Caio for the first time at the same CIOSP as I did. And got in love with the project from the first beginning. So in a personal talk with him, he told me, Fabian, I couldn't imagine how grateful it is to go to regions as we have been with Doutores Sem Fronteiras, helping so many people using the CEREC technology. We have to say that Dr. DeLuca, or Alberto, is the first CEREC user in Brazil. He has been working with CEREC since decades, since the CEREC 1, and know all the steps of this technology and what have been possible to do.
He knows what changed.
Exactly. And the limitations that we had at the beginning and the possibilities that we have now. And he told me, one thing for me, it's clear. We are now at the point which really meets the original idea of CEREC, bringing high-tech and high dental quality for everybody everywhere. Mm-hmm. And he said, I just want to do it as often as I can. So he went already 4 times to Amazonia since 1 year. Yeah, it's really an amazing story. And for him, it was the same as for me. He hasn't been in Amazonia before. It's like another country within our own country. It's the style of life, the conditions are so different as the ones we have in big cities like Rio or São Paulo. So it's really, another world within Brazil. And for him, also very interesting.
So it seems like he's a big fan of this project.
Yes.
What was for you the highlight of the expedition? If you had to mention one thing.
I was grateful. I was thankful for having this experience, for working in a company which really takes its social responsibility and is involved in really doing something for better dentistry all around the world. And for me, it was really a moment that I said, okay, I'm working on the right place, and I'm doing the right thing, and with the right people. And it was, it was a moment to say, thank you for what I do, and very grateful, yeah.
So it sounds like you would not hesitate to join the next expedition.
Yeah.
What are the future plans with regard to support in Brazil?
Caio has already promised a new village in the region of Xingu, to go over there next year for 3 weeks, and this will be a big expedition next year in the Xingu. It's a region where it takes place also they call this like Olympic Games, the Indigenous Olympic Games. The DSF have been this year over there. Things didn't went exactly how it was planned due to some changes in the government, a death in a indigenous village, also bad weather and so on. So they didn't have the chance to stay there for the time that was planned. But they loved the treatments that they got, and asked it. Well, actually, they didn't ask; they implored them to come back next year. And so this is the plan next year, to go to this region again and treat almost 15 villages, which can be found in this region. So it will be a big expedition. Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see if the DSF will get more spontaneous requests, and plan something else that we can help. We have to say that our colleagues in Brazil, they are very involved in all these expeditions, with the logistics, sending the equipment, and so it's a big effort behind, also from our side, from the Inspiração, and we are happy to help, but it's always involved with a lot of logistics and
Okay. Fabiana, thank you so much. It has been so interesting, and I think I immediately changed my vacation plans for next year. I want to volunteer.
Okay, I'll take you with me.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.